As we delve into the life and legacy of King Von, the Chicago rapper who rose from the gritty streets of Chiraq, join us on a journey filled with twists and turns. From his humble beginnings in O Block to his meteoric rise in the music industry, we uncover the untold stories and challenges that shaped his artistry. But there's more to his tale than meets the eye. Controversies, feuds, and a tragic end that left the world in shock. Paying tribute to a remarkable artist whose music still resonates with fans today. Rapper Daquan Bennett, better known by his stage as Kingvon, was born and reared in Chicago, Illinois. It is frequently referred to as Chiraq due to its resemblance to Iraq in terms of its high murder rate and gun violence. He was born on Chicago's South Side and grew up in the Parkway Gardens projects, also called O Block. It is sometimes known as 300 and is situated at the intersection of Martin Luther King Drive and 64th Street. Rapper Lil Durk, who wasn't from O Block but was always closely associated with its members and other well-known artists from the O Block neighborhood, including Chief Keef, were Von's boyhood buddies. Von supposedly belonged to the Black Disciples, or BD's street gang when he was younger. Moreover, he earned the moniker Grandson because I reminded people of King David when I was in jail. King David is alluding to Black Disciples founder David Barksdale. He clarified that inmates had commented on the fact that the way he conducted himself on the streets reminded them of the gang leader. Added that he had been told by others that they had a similar manner. Von has a long criminal background and frequently encountered the law from a young age. At the age of 16, he spent the first time in jail, and 2 years later, he was found in possession of an illegal firearm. He's also said to have worked very hard for the gang and to have murdered 4 or 5 people. Gakira, K.I., Barnes, 17, a purported member of the GDs, and 2 other individuals with whom she was standing, were killed on April 11, 2014, by an unidentified male dressed in a gray sweatshirt and blue trousers. Later, Von would be investigated for her demise, but never put on trial. Police would subsequently confirm that witnesses had claimed Von was the gunman, but it appears they lacked sufficient proof to put him on trial for her murder. Barnes reportedly always did well in school, but was exposed to gang violence growing up. She started to gain a following for her social media parodies of her competitors. She allegedly turned nasty and sought retaliation for her brother Tyken Tyler's death in 2012 after learning of his murder. Although her mother later claimed that Gakira had disputed the allegations against her daughter when she had questioned her about them, she was allegedly involved in more than 20 shootings and was responsible for many fatalities. On July 24, 2014, Malcolm Stuckey, a member of a rival gang, was encountered by Von and his companion Big Mike at a home party. Stuckey belonged to the Gangster Disciples, GDs, a group infamous for its bloody history with the rival BDs. Von was being disrespected by Stuckey and another man, and Von was having none of it. After leaving the party with Big Mike, he allegedly went to get a .40 Smith & Wesson. When he got back, he shot at the 2 men who were outside the party, murdering Stuckey and injuring the other. Big in a statement to the police, Mike explained that he and Von reportedly leaped out of the car and pursued them down. Mike also consented to testify against Von. Von is said to have shot one of the men in the face, fracturing his jaw, while Mike is said to have shot the other man in the foot. While other witnesses failed to appear, Mike changed his mind and chose not to testify in court. Finally, Mike was given a 28-year prison term for using a firearm to commit aggravated battery, whereas Von was found not guilty of any offenses. Despite Big Mike's decision to forego testifying in court, the police were very wary of Von as a result of the statement he gave to them. Mike was referred to as a gang member's snitch. An additional Chicago rapper named Wooski has a sibling named Big Mike. Wooski was raised in O Block but eventually began to associate with STL-EBT, its adversaries, which is a partnership between the St. Lawrence and E Block territories GD sets. After reportedly killing an O Block BD when he was 12 years old, Wooski was eventually forced to leave O Block. He relocated to STL-EBT after leaving O Block and instantly forged bonds with other GD rappers, including FBG Duck, Lil J, and Lil Jojo. For years, Wooski and Von engaged in an open, brutal fight on Twitter. They exchanged jabs at the deceased gang members while tormenting one another, and questioning who would perish first. In October 2018, Wooski was present at the funeral of his friend Duski the Man. I decided to have a cigarette outside. He was shot in the head as he was exiting the chapel by a barrage of Draco gunfire. He underwent emergency surgery after being brought to the hospital and finally recovered. Wooski is still alive today, but he continues to battle with his recuperation and faces numerous challenges because he was shot in the head. After witnessing the success of his pals like Lil Durk in the music industry, Von decided to try his hand at it in 2018. His friends had pushed him to make changes in his life, and he was striving to do so. His breakthrough song, Crazy Story, was released on December 6, 2018, after Lil Durk signed him to his label, OTF. The song almost instantly went viral and made Von famous thanks to his pal Lil Durk's support. It took him some time to get used to having all the cameras focused on him, but with Durk's help, he was able to do it in no time. The following several years saw Von continue to release songs, work with his pal Lil Durk on new projects, and quickly expand his fanbase. In connection with an Atlanta shooting, Von and Lil Durk were both detained in June 2019. The two men are accused by prosecutors of shooting and robbing a guy on February 5, 2019, in front of a well-known Atlanta drive-in. Both men were able to post bail, Von for $250,000 and Durk for $30,000, despite being charged with having a firearm in their hands while a felon and with murderous intent, among other offenses. But as is often the case with so many artists, being imprisoned merely served to increase his notoriety. His career thereafter reached new heights. He was finally earning money and no longer sleeping on the streets because he was going on tour with Lil Durk. When Von and his group left the Opium nightclub on November 6, 2020, they went to the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta. Von was prohibited from carrying a weapon since he was a criminal and had a legal dispute with Lil Durk. Von, unfortunately, got into a fight with rapper Quando Rando and his group outside the hookah lounge at around 2:15 a.m. Shots were finally fired as the two groups started to dispute. The first time Quando Rondo and Von fought, Von was allegedly shot many times by Quando Rondo's friend Lul Tim. Immediately after, there was a commotion, two officers started shooting from two different spots, and one of Von's buddies shot at Lul Tim. Throughout the confrontation, 6 guys were shot. Regrettably, Von and 2 other men died from their wounds. Fortunately, the entire incident was captured on surveillance footage, and Von's alleged killer, Lul Tim, was detained by authorities for his murder. His career ended almost as quickly as it had begun, leaving his songs and recordings for his admirers to enjoy. He was an extremely great artist, despite his past, and, like most individuals, deserved a second chance to change his life around. His music touched the hearts of many and continues to inspire listeners worldwide. Join us in commemorating his legacy by subscribing to our channel. Don't miss out on more in-depth profiles and exclusive content. Remember to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more compelling stories.